I'm Brett Lindquist. I'm the CEO of the mortgage firm, and we're really happy to have Kendra Cook as a speaker. She was a monster. I'll repeat myself if you've been on other calls, but she was a monster producer. I think I remember doing 30 or 40 transactions a month at one time, and then managed, and then got into coaching. She was a really great coach. Still coaches a ton of people, and talks to top realtors all over the country to get ideas from them. And I think you're talking about branding and marketing today. Is that right, Kendra?
Yeah, yep.
Super excited to hear about this. There's some things that I know you've coached me on in the past that really helped me with, getting a certain, just pushing me to do some things that I probably was uncomfortable with, but it helped me get market share. So let me turn it over to you, Kendra Cook.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Excited to be here. Yes, and if you got on the tail end of any part of that conversation, yes, a vacation is always worthwhile. And if you're looking for a great book, after you've read mine, of course, that's just a joke. But Trent Shelton's new book called Protect Your Peace is brilliantly written, easy read, great business. But it talks all about that's how we got on castles. But it talks all about protecting your time, protecting your image, protecting everything about you, your mind, your heart, your spirit, and all that. So it is a great book if you're looking for a good summer read this week. So let's talk about branding and marketing. And how many of you really understand the concept of the difference? Let's be honest. For those of you that I never understood it. How many of you really feel like you understand the difference? Raise your hand. Okay, so a couple of you, right? So it's such a buzzword right now in America is what is your brand and are you married to your brand and what are you doing for marketing? And so I thought I would start out by saying, let's be honest on what they both are. Okay, so the definition for branding is your unique identity. Your unique identity. So, what does that mean? It means that your consistent look with your logo, your colors, your fonts. And if you've met with a marketing company of any sort recently, they probably said, what do you want in your brand? What are you looking for? Now, I've just gone through all this, so it's still a very hot topic for me, having just branched out on my own over the last year or so. And I met with a young team, and the first thing they did was give me a questionnaire that asked me who my avatar was. I'm like, what the crap is an avatar? And they're like, who's your ideal audience? Who's your ideal person that you're trying to reach with your branding? And they took me through a questionnaire down to the kind of cologne that my avatar would wear. How about that? Like the stores you like to shop in, what colors do you like visually, to your eye? Are you a scrolly fancy person? Are you a bold brand person? All these different questions. And then they created my brand. And so I have a 4 color scheme. So if you've seen anything recently, you're like, oh, her colors are the same all the time. That's what they did for me. I didn't even know I needed that. But it makes sense because when I was in real estate, I had one logo that had 2 colors and I used it on everything. So I was branded. I just didn't know if that makes sense. Okay. So it helps you stand out, obviously, and you want to make sure that you are unified on all of your platforms. So some mistakes that I made was I would do some reels from these kind of events when I'm talking to you guys, and they would cut and splice them. And the person I had doing them had lime green sometimes and blue sometimes. And my new company's like, no, 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 no. All these things have to be in this color wheel. These 4 colors, that's what you get. Made sense. So that's really what we're talking about when we talk about branding. Okay. Now let's just change over to marketing. So the identity little clause that I put for marketing, it's the activities that promote or sell you or your business or your product. Okay. So a little different. We've got the consistent, the image, and then the actual duty of doing it, the activities. Okay. So I wrote down some key aspects of marketing that maybe can help you. Keep it customer focused. I will tell you if you follow me on social, meaning Facebook, I just do 3. That's all I can manage. Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You will know that Instagram and LinkedIn are very business focused. Very rarely do I post anything unless I'm on a girls' trip or something that I'm with other like minded women, which is part of my message that I love to hang out with empowered women, right? So that meets my marketing and my brand. If you go to Facebook, you might see anything. You might see a vacation. You might see a book I'm reading. You might see me and my husband being silly. You might see me on a beach. So that I really use Facebook more for personal. I'm not going to say that there's not some business things on there, but I really want that to be my fun platform. And then I have my business platform. So normally I say to people, follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn for more tips. Not that I don't have a Facebook page, but you get what I'm saying. I'm just trying to keep it a little bit separated so I can have fun on one of those pages, because sometimes we just want to put something silly and fun out there and it doesn't match my brand. So I have that outlet to go to Facebook. Okay. Building and maintaining rapport with your clients. Another reason you want to market, right? We want to build rapport. We want them to know that we're human and that we're flawed and that we read books and we take vacations and we struggle and we, put out different things for education. So any way we can build a rapport with the people that follow us, that's another reason we obviously do marketing. Generating leads, right? We all want more leads. This is a way that in most instances you can do it for free, right? And you can generate some sales or some inquiries or obviously some leads. The fourth thing is brand awareness, right? I want anybody who's thinking women empowerment, anyone who's thinking web marketing training, anybody who's thinking coaching, consulting, you're looking to hire a speaker. I want all of those things, people to think of me. That's kind of what I use for my brand. So I talk about my book, I talk about speaking, I talk about changing lives, money literacy, things like that, that I'm very passionate about. So when people think of those things, they think of me. Okay. And then the last one is just constant communication, right? If you're managing a 400 person database and you have, 5K followers on Facebook and you have 5K followers on Instagram and you have 5K followers on LinkedIn, how do we contact them and stay in constant communication? And this is one way to do it is through social media. Okay, now we're going to talk about other ways to stay in touch of them, but since I've been using that as an example, constant communication of staying in front of them all the time. So I'll ask the ones that I can see. People used to say to me all the time, I see your signs everywhere. And they may say that to me when I was in real estate. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no listings. I'm about to be broke. Has anybody ever said something like that to you? I see you everywhere. You're everywhere. It's not that we're really everywhere. It's just we're hitting them where they're looking, right? We're in their face in social media. We're mailing to them. We're emailing to them. We're cutting a video once a month with a market update. So they see us everywhere because we are putting things out there. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're really everywhere. Make sense? Okay. All right. So let's dig into some tips. So that kind of sets up the expectation. What is branding and what is marketing and why we do it? All right. And some tips around that. Let me go a little bit deeper with some tips when it comes to your marketing. I said this earlier, keeping the marketing customer or client forward. What do I mean by that is meeting them where they are. So when we talk about marketing today, you're going to hear me talk about social, you're going to hear me talk about mailing, you're going to hear me talk about videos, you're going to hear me talk about client parties. We have to do all things because let's be honest, you guys, if we're snail mailing, um, my son's generation right now, he's right on the cusp of the millennials, okay, but he's in the Gen Z, right, or Gen Y. He's Gen Y, and so they're kind of a little bit into snail mail, but really not. So they're really more text focused. But if I were only texting him, I might miss a few clients that really still like snail mail or vice versa. How many of you have baby boomer parents that love freaking social media? My mother is one of them. She lives on social media. She loves it, loves the drama, loves the information, loves posting. And then my dad still carries a flip phone. So if I was only sending stuff to my mom in the mail, my dad would get it, my mom would not get it. Does that make sense? So when we say we have to meet the client where they are, not where you are, don't get in a rut where you're like, I'm only doing social. I can't afford to do anything else. I beg to differ. You can do videos. The phone does a video for free, right? You can email for free. You've all got an email address. So let's not get in the way of that. All right. Next one is consistency is key. When it comes to marketing and branding, consistency is key. You cannot, I've been guilty of this, of sending a geographic mailer and saying, oh, it didn't work. I'm never doing it again. You guys realize it takes 7 times for people to remember anything about you, right? So that's 7 posts, that's 7 mailers, that's 7 phone calls, that's 7 times you need to follow up with somebody to make an impression. So it has to be consistent. You can't do it this month, skip 4 or 5 months, post again and be like, nobody called me. Of course they didn't. They've already forgot you in the 30 seconds that they looked at your post or your mail because it's not consistent. Okay. I am not a social media person. I have to hire that out. I'm not very good at it. I know what I like, but I don't really know how to do it all. But I can tell you for the first year after leaving Charlotte, moving to Tampa, I had to do it all by myself and I researched some tools. So if you're in that space of, hey, I have to do my own stuff, I've brought you a couple ideas of how to consistently make these things happen. They are free at the lower level, and you can do anything you want to do at the lower level, or I should say, I was able to. The first one is called Medical, Metricool, Metricool. And basically, what that is, you guys, is a calendar where you can go in and create your post and schedule them to go out when you want them to. All right. So that looks to me like on a Monday, I would block 1 hour and I would pull up the calendar and I would say, okay, I want to post on LinkedIn Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30. And here's the post. Okay. And then I could say, I'm going to do an Instagram post at 5:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And here's the post. You can upload your pictures there. You can type your text and then you can set it and forget it. That's one of the biggest struggles about marketing and consistency. If you don't know how to do it, and it takes a lot of time for you to do it, it will cost you time, which is money. Okay. So these kind of tools will keep you out of your social media 24/7 and just set it and forget it. So that's one of them. The other one is Hootsuite. So the first one is Metricool. Okay. The second one is Hootsuite. Hootsuite. They're the same type of program. One does a little bit more, but it is a calendar based. They are free. Go play on them. Check those out. Now, if you're like, oh crap, no, I can't do that. I don't need one more app on my phone. That would be me. So I can do it on Outlook. You can do a recurring event on your Outlook calendar or your Google calendar, okay? Where you say, hey, on Monday, I'm going to create all my posts for the week for 1 hour. You block it and you do it. I'll tell a funny story on myself. I had MailChimp. Does anybody know what MailChimp is? Like the e-newsletter, you can do all that kind of stuff. I don't do texting, so you'll never get a text from me. And if you don't sign up for my newsletter, you won't get that either. I'm not one of those. But I needed to create a newsletter, right? I'm a party of one right now, and I can't get the mailers out and printed and folded and all this. So I was going to create my conversation with Kendra letter and in a newsletter form. And so my business coach is like, well, you need to send it on MailChimp. And I'm like, oh, that's no problem. I had MailChimp like 20 years ago. Well, 20 years ago, my staff ran it and they ran it all the way up until about, 8 years ago. I never ran it. I didn't know it was a little complicated, but I am excited to say I got my first newsletter out on Wednesday and I had an 81% open rate. So I feel like that was a huge win. And I only had 4 people say, I don't want to be in your group anymore. So we have to do these things to see what works and what doesn't. But I have to block in my schedule every Monday to type the letter. And then I schedule it in MailChimp, just like these other two. And I set it and I forget it. Okay. So I share that with you to say you can do it. It may take a little learning curve. They do a pretty good onboarding process. There will be some hiccups, but I promise you can do these and make it consistent, because that's the big thing I'm trying to drive home. If you don't do it consistently, you don't need to do it. Okay. It won't be worth your wait. All right. Don't make it look like an amateur did it. Right. That's a little smack in the face, but not really. We're professionals. Sometimes I see things from people and I'm like, oh, that is painful. Why did they put that out there? Can anybody relate to that? We're like, oh, that wasn't good for them. So make sure that it looks professional if that's what you're going for on your fun page. Obviously, you can do something different, but make sure it doesn't look like an amateur did it. Word to the wise, be careful and know your audience. Be careful and know your audience. What do I mean by that? If you want to go super political, or you want to go super religion, or you want to go somewhere that your clients might be offended, you may lose some opportunities. Now, I don't talk politics ever, 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 but I don't hide my religion. I'm just being perfectly transparent. So if you follow me, you know that every morning, somewhere between 4 a.m. and about 6:30, I post scripture in my reel in my Facebook. That's my personal page, right? And so I don't feel like I would offend anybody, but if I do, they can always block me. right? I don't do that on my business page, but I do it on my fun page. Okay, that's just some ideas for you to think about. Be all things expert in your field. Don't be expert in all fields. That makes sense to you guys? Sometimes we get a little super opinionated, myself included. I'm like, oh, I'm going to fire something off about that. And if it's not my expertise, I may set myself up for some failure or some negative backlash, right? So just be careful that you know that you are all things, whatever your field is, real estate or lending. You don't have to be all things in all or be all things to all people. Um, let's see. Link your accounts. The last tip I'm going to give you, and then we're going to dig into some ideas. Link your accounts. How many of you don't have your accounts linked where you, if you wanted it to be on Facebook and Instagram, you can link those and whatever goes to one goes to the other? Does everybody know that's a possibility? Okay, good. If you don't, it's very easy. If you go into your settings, um, on either one of them, Facebook or Instagram, you can link those accounts. And so that way, if you only want to post the same message on both, you can post it on one and it would automatically go to the other one. Okay. All right. So let's start with the snail mail. All right. So ways for us to market in snail mail. Obviously, something personal would be like a newsletter or a letter of the heart. Okay. Something where you're sharing from the heart. This is not business focus. This is personal focus. Now, the reason I think my business probably did really well, I did the letter of the heart for 20 years and now I've just started it back up in my consulting and speaking business. And like I said, I had a great open rate, which I'm very excited about. I know it won't always be like that. But when I can bring the bar down to be relatable versus, the professional or maybe standing, people put us on a pedestal. I don't think we do that. I think people think when we advertise we're a multi-million-dollar producer or we close 20 million in lending or real estate, what happens? They're like, oh my God, they made $20 million. They have no idea that's not the truth, right? And so the letter of the heart or the newsletter, when you share something personal, a book you've read, a trip you took your mother on, something that you have going on personally, dropping your kids off at college, a great vacation, a lesson you learned, just a general reconnect. Hey, this is what's going on in our life. It makes you relatable, right? So the personal mail, I love doing snail mail. As I just said, I'm having to make a provision for myself because I don't have enough bandwidth right now. So it's going to go email until I can get somebody hired on to take that back and go snail mail. But I like professional and personal snail mail pieces. And the easiest way to do that's a letter of the heart or a newsletter. Okay.
Hey, Kendra, can I make
Yeah,
a comment about the letter of the heart?
absolutely.
My daughter's 25, but I wrote a letter of the heart a long time ago when she was born, and so I just shared, just some of the thoughts I had and how incredible it was to have a baby girl born. And what's amazing is like 4 years after that, I had a client that I hadn't probably seen since we did the loan, and I saw him and he goes, "Hey, how's your daughter?" And I was like, "This is 4 years later. How the heck did he know I had a daughter?" And it
Mm,
was because he remembered the letter I wrote from 4 years ago. That's how impressionable things can be. Like we just talked at the beginning of this call, we talked about a river cruise. If I mentioned something about a river cruise, like you could write about, other people that can relate to it, they ping you and they think about you. So the
100%.
letter of the heart's super important.
Yes. And you'll be surprised when you go personal how many people will reach out to you for whatever. If you drop a kid off at college, all these moms and dads will text you, oh my gosh, I've been there, it gets better. It'll be weird when they come home because you've been an empty nester or whatever. You will connect with people on so many levels. So I love that.
Hey, let me ask one other thing too, because I know there's some rules around letter of the heart, what to like not do. What are a couple of things you'd recommend, not to get too personal?
Well, again, know your audience, right? So if you don't want to go down a rabbit hole of religion or politics, you might leave those out. But remember, it's not about business. So don't get in the braggadocious. I don't think that's bad, but you got to be really careful about this letter is going to your client. So taking his mom on a river cruise, what an exciting time in her 80s, still being, I would be, um, really touting the fact that I still had my mom in her 80s and that she was still able to travel and the memories that we made versus how elaborate the cruise was. Now, if you want to talk about how elaborate the cruise was, go for it. throw one or two of those in, but really the message from the heart would be the time that he spent with his mom and how that will be a treasure for him for years and years to come,
Don't
right?
start making me cry.
So, and then if you want to talk about business, do it in the postscript. PS at the bottom, you can say, hey, I have a, niche property that if you're looking for a house on the lake, call me, or on the water, or, I'm looking for a niche property for a client, or I'm in search of a commercial building or whatever. You could do something like that in the bottom, but keep the top really about the touchy feely emotional piece, because I'm going to tell you about the next one, which is really going to be the tactical piece. And that's like a postcard, right? A just listed, a just sold, something to where you can be a little braggadocious, right? I sold this many houses. This is what my clients say about me in a testimony. We got 5,000 over asking. We closed in 20 or sold it in 24 hours. Those are your accolades around the business piece. Postcards are great. Let's be honest. I just read something from Inman. If any of you subscribe to Inman, it was talking about a whole article around snail mail is not dead. And so many people are like, oh, it's all going social. It's all. Let me remind you that 37% of the houses in America, I believe that's still the number or very close to it, are owned by baby boomers. So many baby boomers are not on social media. They still go to the mailbox, right? So if you are looking for listings and you're sending just listed, just sold cards to a neighborhood, to the 20 or 50 neighbors around that, and you have baby boomers, chances are they may still not know who their realtor was when they bought the house if they've been there for a long time, or that realtor may very possibly be out of the business. The average realtor stays in the market 13 months, y'all. That's an NAR stat. That's not mine. So if the average realtor lasts 13 months, what's the turnover like? Right? And then we know the average age of a realtor is starting to really creep up there. Some of those people are going to start stepping out and go enjoying their life. So if you're not thinking about snail mail and you're not doing some brag fest cards on just listed, just sold testimonials, I would encourage you to do it. I use the company called thepersonalmarketingcompany.com. Super easy to use. Again, I'm not techie, but we were able to set up the cards. The only thing that really changed was either the just listed or the just sold, the address. Once you set up your template, it's pretty easy. You can pinpoint the address and say, I want the 20 closest stores or the 50 closest stores. They pull the neighborhood, the addresses, print them, put the stamps on and get them out. And they also send you one so you know what it looks like when it went. It's swipe your credit card and you're done. Now, if you can do them in house, by all means, do them in house. I just never had the bandwidth to do that. So they're not the only company in town, and I don't make a dime off of them. That's my disclosure. It's just the one I use and I know them. So, but again, we've got a personal mailer, we've got a business mailer. Okay. And the third one I wanted to talk about is geographic mailings. Anybody that I can see on my screen do a geographic mail currently? Nobody? Okay. So this is your long-term play. It's and the most expensive one, okay, because it is a shot in the barrel to see what happens. But here's a couple things that I want to tell you. I've done them all wrong and I've done them really right. And this is my rules for you if you decide you want to take one on. Do your homework. Get on the MLS, find the neighborhoods who have been there 3 to 5 years and they were new construction, which means in the next 2 to 5 years, they're going to start turning and burning. Okay. If they were new construction and they were with a corporate builder of some sort, chances are a lot of them were bought through the on-site agent, which means they may not have an agent to sell it because most of the time those people cannot sell. Okay. So we are looking for a market that's about to hit. That's number one way to find a good geographic farm. You start dripping on them, preparing your house to sell. You can do market updates. You can do just listed, just sold cards, even if they're in another neighborhood, just so they can start seeing your name and start branding yourself in there. That works really well. Then if you have a very established neighborhood that, again, you know that there's a group of people in there at a certain time are going to start retiring, downsizing, all the masters are upstairs, there's not been a lot of turnover in there, that would be another one I would go after. Let me tell you the ones I wouldn't go after. I wouldn't drive through a new neighborhood of, big houses and go, oh, I want to live here for one day. So I'm going to start farming now. And 10 years from now, when somebody moves out of their dream home, I might get it. That doesn't work. I only use that example because that was me. Rita Casey, who Brett and I know, she came to my town. I'm like, this is the neighborhood I want to live in. This is where I farm. I was so proud. I was doing my geographic farm and she told me to do it. And she looked at me, she goes, how old are these houses? I'm like, oh, year and a half. She goes, these people aren't moving anytime soon. What are you doing? This is a waste of time, right? So do your homework. Geographic farms work when you do your homework. Don't just pick a neighborhood. The third best geographic farm is your own neighborhood. If you know your neighbors, if you can do some neighborhood block parties, if you can sponsor the neighborhood yard sale, if you can do the bouncy back to school house and a cul-de-sac and have ice cream and feed all the kids where you can meet all their parents, if you can work that neighborhood like that, then that's the third best geographic farm. But those are really how geographic farm is going to pay off with you sooner than later. But it is a long-term plan. So don't go in there thinking it's going to happen overnight. Okay. All right, let's talk about videos. If I could just tell you all how much I despise cutting those videos that you get from me every month. I cannot watch them. I hope sometimes somebody texts me and says, hey, you got the wrong day or the wrong time, and I have to recut them because I do not watch them. If I rewatch them, they would never come to you. You would never see them. So if you're like me, number one rule is do not watch it. Do not watch it. Okay. The second one is create a tool in your calendar that has you cut videos in blocks. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is I have a lot of companies on something similar to this. So I block out 2 hours the first week of at the end of the month. So they go out the first of the month for the next month. So these guys already have the May video because I try to stay 1 month ahead, but I cut them all in the same day. Okay. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I see these videos everywhere and she has the same outfit on, it's because I cut them all at the same time. Because if I start and stop, they'll never get done. Okay. So that's my rule of thumb. Put it in your calendar, you cut them. All right. Now, my very favorite, obviously, this is one of my favorites to cut, but my very, very favorite is birthdays. If you're in my sphere, if you're in my key influencer group, you will get a personalized video from me on your birthday. Okay. I do the same thing. There's a reminder in my calendar. I think it's about the 25th, 26th. It says, make your list of birthday videos. So I go to the next month in my calendar and I literally click 1, 2, 3, 4, and I write down all the videos and the date of their birthday. Okay. And then I block out the time at the end of the month to sit in front of my camera and I cut all the birthday videos. Now, my tool for videos is BombBomb, BOMB.com. I don't get a kickback. It costs about $500. I think I just paid $565 for the year, but it's unlimited videos. You can create templates in there. My favorite tool about it is there's a calendar where I schedule the videos. Okay. So I sat down and cut all the birthday videos. And as I cut them, I schedule them to go into that person's email on their actual birthday. So I don't have to remember. The consistent part of that is, oh my gosh, did I cut the video? Did it go? I just do it all at one time and they're all scheduled. Okay. So if you're looking for a tool that you can schedule videos, if you're going to cut videos for a market update, which we're going to talk about in a second, again, you can cut 2 or 3 for the month and schedule them to go out at different times, set it and forget it. If you haven't noticed, I'm all about systems and making sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So these tools are a way for that to happen for me. We're busy, right? There's a lot of things coming at us. So when we talk about videos, birthdays are my favorite. That's my tip around how to get all the birthdays done. Cut them once a month, schedule them, and forget them, okay? My second favorite video to cut every month is thank you for a referral. Thank you for a referral. If you give me a referral, I'm not waiting until I get back in front of my computer. I'm usually going to get on my phone and I'm going to turn on my video camera and I'm going to cut a video specifically to you and I'm going to text it right back to you. You guys, that's the highest compliment we can get in real estate or lending is for somebody to refer us. I've heard it said many times, if people come back to us and work with us, in the future, like buy with us and sell with us later and several times, they like the experience. It was a good experience. Okay. But when they refer us, they trust us. So what's the better compliment? Do you want people to like you or trust you? For me, it's trust, right? I want both. But at the end of the day, if they trust me enough to send me to their friends and family, then I know I did a good job and they're not scared about referring me out. If we're not getting referrals, I would have to look myself in the mirror and say, and it happened many times, like, why are we not getting any referrals? Are we not doing a good job? Is our follow up lead time not good? Or, what is happening? Do you guys assess this stuff in your business like that? Anybody? Yes? Okay, good. So the video, the referral, the minute I get it, and usually it's through a text or an email, I'm going to send you a video back right away. Now, if I'm sitting at my desk, yes, I'll go to BombBomb and cut it real quick and send it out. But if not, your phone. Don't forget that your phone is a good tool for us, okay, when it comes to video.
Kendra, is there any rules around what to do or don't do on a video like that? And then also, a lot of people like, I don't look good on camera. I don't want to, what's some advice you can give for someone that doesn't want to do a video?
Suck it up, Buttercup. I don't know. No, I mean it's one of those things. I don't know. I just think when I can see somebody's emotion, like if I did this talk on the phone, how many of you, and some of you may be doing this right now, totally tuning us out and on their computer, right? But if I'm on video with you, it's really hard to ignore me or disengage with me because we're on a video together. And I think that when we can talk in a video, even in person or a recorded one, you feel my emotion, right? If I'm like, I am so honored versus me just leaving you a voicemail, hey, I'm really honored, right? It just shows a different level of commitment. So as far as things that do and don't, just don't watch them. Get over yourself. Just do them. I think when we stop thinking about what's in it for us and start thinking about what's in it for the client, your mindset will shift a little bit. Really honoring the client versus ourselves is big for me. As far as
Well,
things,
the reality too is hardly anyone does, even though they might be coached to do, they don't do it. So
yeah,
it's an extra thing that people just don't do.
right.
Yeah.
And I'll give you guys a challenge today. Cut a video today and send it to someone that you feel very grateful for. Somebody that contacted you to somebody amazing, somebody that did something very generous to you, somebody that sent you a referral. I know we're like, oh my gosh, it freaks me out. But at the end of the day, when they respond and be like, gosh, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. I'm really grateful that you did that. You'll start building up some confidence that it's not about what we look at like or what we say. It's the gratitude in that. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that help? Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to run through real quickly some other ways to use video in our businesses. Invite to an event. I love a personal invitation. I'm doing moms and mimosas for some of my new neighbors because I'm still trying to meet people in my neighborhood. And I did an invite and I put a video in there and it just went over very well received. People were like, oh, you look beautiful. Your makeup looks nice. I'm like, oh, I'm confident. I can cut another video right now, right? And so whatever it takes, all right? But invite to an event, sales, how to sell, how to buy, how to qualify. I don't think we do enough of our how-to videos. I think that we rely on social media or media to tell people when it's time to buy or how to prepare their home to sell or what the selling trends are. Listen, guys, we're the expert. So I find that there is a huge opportunity for us to lead and guide our clients when we do how-to videos. So if you went back in the archives, God only knows what color my hair would be at that time, but I had a ton of videos. I used to do video series about 6 tips to prepare your house to sell in the spring market. And I would send a tip a week. And you would be surprised, over 50-60% a week would open those tips. Well, when I can see who's opening those things, guess what I'm going to do? My phone calls are going to be targeted to those people because they obviously have some interest if they're watching how to get their house ready to sell in the fall, right? Lenders, you could do the same thing. Steps to, things that you need to find. Every week, I'll give you one more thing, get an envelope, put it all together. When you get it all done, call me and let's do a pre-qual. Or same thing with the buyers, the listing agents. Do these things. When you get everything done, call me. Let me come over and tell you if there's anything else you need to do to get the house ready, right? I think call to action is huge in these, and the how-to videos. I think you can do a ton of those. Create educational series, which is exactly what we do here every single month. I hopefully bring you something of education that you can take a little nugget, put it in your business. What if you did an educational series on how to prepare for a home inspection? How to get explain what an appraisal is and how it works and who the appraiser works for. Do you realize most of our clients don't really understand those things? Right? I think education could go a long way in our industry when we can educate the client, be the expert. Open house invitations and showcases, obviously, walking through a new listing. Thank you and intro videos. If you have a team and you onboard a new listing, or you are a buyer's agent and you have a team and you have a TC, in either one of those scenarios, videos from my team always got the best open rate. So my transaction coordinator had her own video. It was a canned video, you guys. She cut it one time and it went out, but it was, hey, my name is Darlene Young. I'm the transaction coordinator for Cook Realty Partners. I wanted to introduce myself, let you know what I will handle for you through the process. Here's my direct phone number. Here's my email address. And here are the hours that I am available for your calls or emails. Mic drop. What do people want to know from us? What's next? Who do I contact? Where do I go for questions? This is back to the education, right? If you have a listing coordinator, hey, I'm Rhonda Lee. I'm the listing coordinator at Cook Realty Partners. My job is all things listings. This was I didn't tell them what to say. This is what they said. My thing is all things listings. So if somebody comes in and gets mud on your carpet, you call me, I'll take care of it. If your sign falls over in a storm, that's my job. Give me a call. If you're out of flyers in the box, you call me and I'll have them delivered within 24 hours. My hours are X to X, my phone number is Y, and my email address is Z. Those never didn't get opened, right? And guess what? It didn't happen for me. They weren't calling me, hey, my sign's down. Hey, when's the appraiser coming? Now, who's the appraiser? Right? We are directing the client. We're being the expert. That's what these videos can do. Sometimes we see them on social media. We're like, everybody on video is beautiful. They don't really have to be beautiful. They have to be informative for me to watch them. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that help you?
I can't believe I've never heard what people want is what's next. I've never heard it put that way. It's so true. They just want to know what's going on. What's coming up? Tell
I'll
me the
tell you what,
future. Yeah.
because Brent Lindquist is in charge of this call today and being the boss man, I'm going to send you guys links to all of my what's next videos. Would that be
Awesome.
helpful? Would that be helpful for everybody? Okay. So it's I cut them all one time. It doesn't look like I cut them all one time. I stumble over words. I did not correct them on purpose, right? And it's like the minute the appointment is set, they get a video, buyer or seller. The minute they go under contract, either side, they get another one. What's next? We talk about who's in charge of the appraisal. And then we do their closing video, because how many times does the seller call us? Well, I want to schedule my closing. Well, I can't schedule your closing until the buyer does, because the buyer has the money. We put that in a video. So guess what we don't get anymore? I want to schedule my closing. I tell them in the video, we will call you to schedule your closing once we know the buyer and the lender are ready to close. It's literally in a video. Does that make sense? And then I also set them up for my team calling and asking for a survey. Okay, let them know I'm not going anywhere, and they can call me for any referrals that they need along the way. So I'll send you guys those links today, and you guys can feel free to rip and duplicate. Okay, you don't have to recreate the script or make it be like, something that is more in tune with who you are. But I will tell you, people ask me all the time, how much did those videos cost? You guys are gonna not like me, but $1,500, only because I gave it as a donation to the college. I called the marketing and communications department at our college in town and asked if they had anybody needing projects. And they brought the equipment, set it up in my office. We cut all the videos. You'll see I changed clothes, same hair, same everything, did them all in one day. And they gave me the links, and I gave the young man who did them $500, and I donated $1,000 to the communications and marketing department at MTSU. And for $1,500, I got all these videos done. So
That's probably a 5 to 10 grand job normally.
easy,
That's
easy.
incredible.
So if you are looking for videos, there are so many kids out there that are really trying to pursue this field. If you have a college or a junior college around that, go seek their services. They're anxious and excited to help, and you can do donations or whatever. So that's, I will send you guys that. Okay, wrapping up videos. So the team intro, steps through the process, which is what I'm going to send you guys those videos today. Thank you for attending an event. Featured VIP vendor of the month. If you are doing a featured vendor of the month part of your key influencer program, I think we talked about that together when we did that program. That's another way to do videos, just so they can do a quick infomercial. You tag them, you go on their social and yours. Market updates, keep it local. Right now, there's so many questions about what's happening with tariffs and bonds and rates and blah, blah, blah. Get with your trusted advisor, get the information, cut a market video, send it to your database, be the local expert. I think that's huge, 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 huge. All right, so my last tip around videos and social media, and we're going to go into more social media, some posts there. But I think of two words when I think about videos or social media, really either one. It's educate or entertain. Make sure you understand the difference, okay? I talked about this earlier. I want to educate my clients on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I want to be more entertaining for ideas and fun stuff on my Facebook page. Just think about those two words when you're preparing to post, or if you're working with somebody that does your posting, that you understand. Now, there may be two other words that you want to plug in there, but those are the two that I really use around videos, marketing, all things me. Okay. All right. Let's talk about how do we do that? How do we figure out, are people more attracted to our educational things, or are they more attracted to our entertainment? Look at the comments, look at the feed, do an assessment of your social media over the next month or so. You know, you could, there's all the reports on the back end. Go look at what people are responding to. I had never, embarrassing to say, done this, okay, until I hired a marketing company when I moved here to Florida. And she showed me how to do the stats and where to find them, and what, you know, what the rhythms are and what people are liking and the most comments. It's super helpful, because if you're putting out a ton of content and nobody's responding, and you don't know that, and you just keep burning the candle at both ends trying to get all the content out, why bother? Right? So this goes back to systems tracking, making sure what you're doing is working. So make sure, if you don't know how to get your stats on the back end, have somebody, have a fifth grader show you, because I'm pretty sure they can all help us figure out social media way better than we can. But I just think it is really important to do an assessment of your previous posts to see what people are engaging with, so you don't waste your time. Okay. All right, let's talk about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I do not do TikTok, by the way. So I can't help you there. LinkedIn. So we're talking about reels, posts, and stories. What fits you and what fits your client? I think you got to get a good handle on that. My marketing company has been so helpful for me, because I really didn't know. I would just throw whatever out there and didn't pay attention. So she really helped me figuring out what fits me and my personality, like the posts that I like, and then what fits the client that I'm trying to attract. Okay. So when we talk about social, we have a lot of opportunities to engage with our clients there. You've got photos at closing. I know we talked about this, I believe, when we did scripting, but maybe we didn't. I used to have a sign that was, I don't know, whatever this is, 2x4, 4x, I don't know. But like the plastic, the corrugated plastic, if you will. And on one side, it said, I bought my home with Cook Realty Partners. And then on the other side, it said, I sold my home with Cook Realty Partners. Everybody on our team had those signs in their trunk. So whoever was at the closing, we took the sign in, and we asked if we could take a picture with our client with the sign that was appropriate, which other, if they were on a buyer or seller side, and then could we tag them in our social? And we would. And so guess what would happen? It would be like, Lori would come back and say, oh my gosh, I bought my house with Kendra Cook and her team 5 years ago. And then Brianna comes in, well, we're thinking about buying or selling. We thought the rates were too high. Well, when I see those, I'm going straight into their DM. Oh my gosh, if Stephanie trusted me, please know you can trust me too. I'll be honest. I can fill you in on the rates. Give me a call. Let's schedule a time, right? So this is, I'm kind of hitting a lot of different birds with that one picture because I'm getting some accolades. So building rapport with some clients maybe I haven't talked to in a while, right? I'm honoring my current client, and then I'm prospecting for some new clients. So I think we get a little bit in our head as to why would we do this? That's a waste of time. Why am I going to buy a $30 sign and tote it around? If every time you post a picture of a sign with a past client or a current client and somebody hits you up, that's a potential client. It's not a waste of time, right? And it's free publicity once you buy the sign. So let's not get in our own way of we don't want to do that. When you start thinking about how social media can continue to open doors for you with one post, that's called leverage. If you ever heard me speak, you know I'm all about leverage, doing less in more time, getting more bang for my buck, keeping the cost down. Those are all things I'm very passionate about. So if this is one way to do that, hopefully that is one thing you will take away from today. I know I've given you a ton of things, but if there was one I would tell you and you're not doing the sign, it's a good one. All right, featured listings, market updates. Obviously, social media are so good for those. I love funny memes, but not disrespectful. Like funny. Like I have a picture that I put up at the end of my work-life balance when we get to that topic, if we decide to do that one in this group. The last one is a picture of a lady and she's like exhausted in the apron and the mop, and it's just a disaster. And she said something to the effect of somebody told me to work hard and I just told them to work like a woman or work like a right? And so she's wearing all these different hats, mom, kid, businesswoman, right? And so we all think we're great multitaskers. Those are fun memes for me, not disrespectful. So fun memes are good for social. Running your VIP vendor videos again are great on social media. You will get a ton of bang for your buck there. Posting photos from your event. Listen, I love to post photos from events, business events, because I want to create some FOMO. I want the people that didn't get to come to this one not to miss the next one. So fear of missing out obviously is a real game changer on social media. So if you're doing some nice client events or some fun open houses or some kids activities, excuse me, I saw some of my coaching clients yesterday did a Easter ladies, you probably know what I'm talking about, but these stack things that have all the like vases and they put all these different flowers in and you got to come in and make your own Easter bouquet. What a great idea. And they put those pictures on, and I saw them on social media this morning. I'm like, why don't I live in Tennessee? That would have been a fun event to go to. I love flowers, right? And so it's the FOMO that we're going for when we post those pictures. And then the last one is ask me anything or polls. I don't love these because sometimes people give me questions like, why do you teach this? And then I need to give a big dissertation and I can give 2 sentences. But if you're okay with people kind of putting you in the hot seat and you have an hour, you can do ask me anything, or polls are really fun. Like ranch or colonial two-story, ocean or mountains. You can do the either ors. That gets people really engaged. So some pooling of your followers on social is a fun way to get some interaction too. All right. The last thing I'm going to tell you, I'm going to open it up for questions. I want to try to leave 10 minutes here at the end for questions. So we've covered mail, video, social, all things marketing and branded. The last thing I want to remind you is the key to all of it is consistency and scheduling. Okay. So if you didn't pick those things up today, I've given you some ideas, even as simple as your calendar. You can create a marketing calendar and do the whole year in advance. You can do 6 months in advance, who's going to do what, who's in charge of whatever. But at the end of the day, I want to empower you that if you don't schedule it, it will not happen, and therefore you will not get the results you want. So consistency is key. Schedule everything. Okay. Okay, we got through it, and it's 10:50 on the nose, so I want to open it up for Q&A from you guys, or ideas that you all have that you'll share with the group. I know that we have people from all kinds of different locations that maybe you guys do something that I don't do or didn't do that you're willing to share with the group. Who wants to hop on? You got to unmute yourself, don't forget.
Hey, I'll start out, Kendra.
Okay.
A few things that I wrote down that I really appreciate. Our company is 65% women, And I always say we have powerful women, but you use the word empowered women. I love that. So, and half of our top producers are women, so that's very cool. I didn't realize the average realtors in the market 13 months. That is outrageous. So for you all on the call, congrats for being stick with it, and things will get better. And then about consistency, you wrote you have to, or you said you have to do something 7 times before they notice. It's amazing. People think, oh, I'll do one post, everything's going to be fine. And it's the seventh to eighth that really, or the seventh really, that makes the big key. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, yes. It's a true story. Rita came to town one day and we were going to, I switched markets. You remember that whole debacle in my career. But after the collapse in 10, I literally moved markets, you guys, for realtors that are on here. You can imagine just picking up and moving. And I had been doing geographic firms because I didn't know anybody and really didn't know the area. And I called Rita one day and I'm like, I'm broke and I can't afford to do this. And, I'd already borrowed money from my husband and nobody was calling me from the geographic firms. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. And she's like, I'm coming to town. Don't change anything, blah, blah, blah. So we go to Starbucks in my new area that I was farming. Lord is my witness, you guys. And I had my name badge on, and this guy came beeline to me. I know that Rita was just ready to fall over in laughter. And he was like, oh my gosh, you're the woman who's been mailing our house, and we're getting ready to call you. And I was so dumbfounded. I was like, I couldn't even say anything because I just had a complete utter meltdown and literally had probably been mailing them 7 or 8 or 9 months. And sure enough, that was my very first listing in the new area. And so I'm just like, oh, thank you. I can't wait to talk to you. I didn't ask him his name. I didn't ask him his phone number. Like sales 101 just poof went out the door, right? I was so excited. And so Rita's like, did you give him a card? And I'm like, no, I don't even have a business card. She's like, you go to your car and get a business card and you go take him that and you get a pen. And so then she made me go over there and redeem myself and give him my card and get his information. And we ended up listing that house, and it was my very first listing off my geographic farm in the area. And she tells that story all the time. So it is the 7th or 8th time. It really is. It takes that long. So, other questions you guys have? Hey, Evan,
Okay, I got one.
go for it, Thomas.
Sure. So I think I saw it in the chat. Someone asked why would I use BombBomb instead of just using my phone? Just want because I'm considering BombBomb, but I want to know what.
That's a great question. So the only reason I use BombBomb is now, of course, when I started using BombBomb, now you guys can schedule your text messages. Did y'all know that on the new iPhone update for those millennials on here and people that are trend savvy? I didn't know that until recently. But for me, I use it as more of I can, plan them out and I don't have to sit down and cut the videos every day because that used to not be on our iPhone where I could cut a video and schedule it to go in a text. So that would be one reason. The other thing is I have 4 templates in there. So I don't know how you guys receive your invitations to this, but I have a template that says Thrive in 25, and that's kind of my webinar series title. And so I dropped the video in that, and if I were sending it, it would come in that template. I also have one for birthdays, so it goes in a birthday template. I have a thank you for the referral template, and then a happy anniversary. So I have 4 templates that I created, and all I do is pick the template, put the video in, schedule it, and it goes. So for me, it was more I can customize it, and the calendar part is always been a huge part for me.
Do you know when someone opens it?
Yes, absolutely. All of you that open the videos for me, I get about probably 3,000 video opens from all the videos that go out for me every single month. So
that would be a big one. That would be a big reason.
Yes, absolutely. And you can set up an envelope to where all of them go in there. And so if Brett or anyone else ever called me and said, hey, can you tell me how many of our videos were opened? I can tell them. I can also tell you how much of the percentage you watch. If you only watch 55% or 100%, I know that too. So the stats and the tracking, again, if you're going to do it and you want to know the open rate and the details, that all comes through BombBomb.
A lot of our salespeople,
Thank you.
a lot of our salespeople, the mortgage firm use BombBomb also. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very easy, super easy, usually friendly, very, very easy to use. So great question. Did I miss any other questions over here?
All right. So everyone on the call, you have to do one thing, one call to action. I'm going to make a video and send it to somebody. and tell him how much I appreciate him. Actually, Sam D'Angeli is on this call. It's his birthday today. So I'm going to do a video for Sam as soon as we get done with this. So everybody plan on doing one thing, just one, and knock it out. That way you accomplish something after this call. Any other
Yeah,
questions?
I love it. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I hope everybody took something away. There are 125 plus of you, so hopefully somebody got something. And I'll see you guys next month. I appreciate it. Brett, thank you for everything.